Podcast New York.
What's up, Dueling Decades? This is Wax. Peace to all you guys, and thanks for having me on the show. Will it be the 90s or the 80s? Beanie Babies or Crack Babies? Will it be Nirvana or Madonna? Maybe Britney, maybe Whitney. Do you like new metal or new wave? Dave Grohl or Super Dave? I don't know. But now the battle begins. Dueling Decades. Let's see who wins.
Dueling Decades.
From the Podcast New York studios, it's another all-new Dueling Decades, the adult-only retro game show where the decades battle for supremacy because it's your history. We just fight for it. Welcome back. I am Mark James, and this week we return with a week experience battle. I'll be competing with July 15th through the 21st of 1979 alongside the other duelers and the decades they will be fighting for. First off, proving that sometimes the chill pill is the hardest to swallow. Say hello to Man Crush.
What's up, everybody? That's right. I have July 18th through 24th of 1999. And since we have to do this 3 times a show, and I think last time we shortchanged them by only giving them 1, head over. If you're on our YouTube, great. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff. But also, we're on Pod TV. We are on there, and just download the app. It's on the Fire Stick. It's on Roku. It's on Apple TV. It's on all that fun stuff. So there's 1.
Also returning to the show is the media king of the North. Please welcome Joe Finley.
Pod TV. We got you covered already. Love you guys, Pod TV. But yeah, I'm got the 3rd week of June, 1989, and let's get gnarly with it.
And as always here on the show, we need someone to adjudicate all of this awesomeness. So this week's guest judges are from the totally rockin' band The World Over, who you can catch on tour this fall on the Back from the Dead tour with Power Man 5000. All rise and welcome judges Christian and Alex.
What's up?
How's it going, guys?
And Alex is the first ever judge to do this from his car. He's going to stop at a drive-in, he told us later, which is going to be pretty awesome.
Global judge.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest will be held under Dueling Decades rules. The judges' coin flip shall decide who picks first out of the 5 Dueling Decades categories: movies, television, music, news, and hot products. A judge's ruling will determine who wins each round, allowing the victor to choose the next available category. The first 3 rounds are worth 1 point each, with rounds 4 and 5 worth 2 points apiece. And in the event of a tie after all 5 rounds, we'll go to a final wild card round. Remember, duelers, to review the show, listen, subscribe, and play along at home. It's time for more Dueling Decades. All right, let's toss it right down to our guest judges for this episode, Christian and Alex, for the coin toss.
What do you got, Christian?
I got a coin.
All right. That works.
All right, this week's coin toss will be between Man Crush and Joe Finley. Joe, why don't you take the honors and call it this week?
Let's give it for heads, seeing as I'm up north.
All right. Heads it is.
Whoa.
Ooh, big day.
All right, Joe Finley, you won the coin toss. You take control of the board, and you get to select our first category. Where are we going, man?
Let's start out with TV this time. Okay. So I want to take you to July 21st, 1989. It was a great day for the good people of home box office, as they had a fight night going on. Mike Tyson was defending his undisputed world championship, that's the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles, against Carl Williams. It was supposed to be a big event for HBO. Only one problem: the fight lasted 93 seconds. Mike Tyson hit some brutal shots. I actually watched the fight today. It's on YouTube, the whole thing, because short, but just the sound of Tyson's punches landing, like I bruised a rib just watching that happen. And he just put Carl Williams on his ass early on. Then he gets up before the 8 count, and the referee, Randy Newman, called it anyways, and caused a lot of controversy because excuse me, because Carl Williams and his representation ended up appealing to all 3 governing bodies, asking them to turn the fight to a no contest from a technical knockout because he said he was still fit to fight. None of them did that, and they basically trash talked him and said, maybe if you want another shot at the champ, you should, knock out a few real boxers first. But this left HBO in a little bit of a pickle because they had about an hour of broadcast left and they didn't know what to do. They hadn't planned for Mike Tyson destroying a person, despite the fact that 5 months prior he knocked Frank Bruno out hard. So they had to scramble a little bit, and they ended up airing an episode of Kids in the Hall, Canadian, and HBO's One Night Stand comedy special. So they had to put up graphics during those just to let people know why the unscheduled programming was going on. So that's what you had, a very short Mike Tyson fight and HBO scrambling for their lives on July 21st, 1989.
Wow. So much like the Kids in the Hall, are you telling me that Mike Tyson was crushing your head?
He was doing that regularly till he lost his next fight to James Buster Douglas.
I cried.
Jeez. All right, Man Crush. What did you bring for the television round?
All right. Well, I'm glad that Joe brought fighting because so did I. But let's go July 18th, 1999. And it's been a while since I had the opportunity to select some wrestling for the show. And being that this is 1999, how could you not be watching wrestling on television at this point in our lives? Now, this is a pay-per-view. It didn't fall on a Monday night, but do you recall how amazing Monday nights were in 1999?
Yeah.
I mean, my wife, who didn't even like wrestling, was all about Monday nights. Our friend Eric would come over, her brother would come over, and we would watch WWF Raw like religiously. Sometimes we'd flip back and forth, see what was happening on Nitro. But it was such a special time for wrestling. And if you lived through it, you know how awesome it was. And if you didn't, I'm sorry, because you will never get to experience that ever again. It's the truth. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. That said, it wasn't all about the WCW and WWF at the time. For the real diehard fans, we also had ECW, of course, talking about Extreme Championship Wrestling. And I've picked ECW for a television round before, and that was with their launch of Hardcore TV. But I don't think I ever got to cover an ECW pay-per-view until now. So on July 18th, 1999, we got ECW Heatwave. And once again, something that would probably never fly again, not even on a pay-per-view. It's just not going to happen. Some notable names were on the card. You had Rob Van Dam, you had Taz. Jazz actually got the first ever win for a female on an ECW pay-per-view, and she beat a dude. She beat Jason Knight in that one. She had Sabu, Tommy Dreamer, just incredible. So all like the big ECW names. And you even had the surprise return of the recently deceased New Jack. Rest in peace, New Jack. That was only like a couple weeks back. But one of the names I left out here was the Dudley Boys. And at the time, the Dudley Boys, they were their 6-time tag team champs. And they would end up losing the belts to Spike Dudley and Balls Mahoney on this pay-per-view. But back in 1999, this was a major upset and big time news. In 2021, you look back at this event and it's always referred to as the Dudley Boys Heat Wave incident. So prior to this match, you had Bubba Ray and Devon. They're just cutting a promo for like, seems like a half hour, but it's 10 minutes, which seems insanely long. And this pretty much, it was the Dudley Boys doing what the Dudleys do in most cities, it was nothing new at the time, but there's no fucking way this would ever happen in 2021. So nowadays it's labeled as an incident, but this was pretty like run of the mill Dudley Boys at the time. So if you want to see the whole thing, just head over to YouTube, search for it, just put in like Dudley Boys promo incident Heatwave 99. Let's just say this, the tamest thing in this 10-minute ramp was when they started this whole thing when Devon came out and told the crowd to sit down and shut the fuck up. That's the tamest thing in this entire thing. The Dudley Boys, they knew how to bring heat that like nobody else. And I can't even say anything else that these guys said because our video would get flagged by Facebook and would immediately get taken down. I'm not even shitting you on that one. I'll throw these out there. They got into a spitting match with a mother and daughter ringside. They almost got into a fight with some other dude, threw a beer on him, and lots of naughty words. So it's ECW Heatwave 1999. Go check out that clip. I guarantee it's worth it.
Wow. Excellent pay-per-view. All right, gents, for my television pick, let's head up to Seattle for the 1979 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. The game was televised nationally on NBC with primetime coverage beginning at 8 p.m. July 17th, 1979, at the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington, home of the Seattle Mariners, who were just in their third year in the league. So an Associated Press article gave rave reviews to the Peacock's coverage of the game, saying that NBC captured the key play-by-play from every conceivable angle. It gave viewers some interesting chatter from the broadcast booth, and generally it got high marks for its coverage of the 50th annual All-Star Game. The article would then go on to note the standout play-by-play work from the team of Tony Kubek and Tom Seaver, and the National League ended up winning 7-6 for their 8th consecutive win. The standout performer from the game was Dave Parker, the outfielder from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He would go on to win the MVP award for the game for his outstanding defensive glove work and his powerful throwing arm, and not his powerful bat that won him the National League MVP just the previous year. Another big standout for the game included the Mets' Lee Mazzelli, who would homer in just his first All-Star at bat. But the real highlight of the game would come early in the first inning. And as an article in the Associated Press would say, Morgana steals the show. The game was interrupted in the first inning when stripteaser Morgana Roberts, a longtime baseball fan, ran on the field to embrace George Brett of the Kansas City Royals. Brett was stepping to the plate in the bottom of the first inning when Morgana appeared from the left field stands, ran across the infield, and met him at the plate to deliver the kiss. Brett had been her target before, so he accepted the kiss gracefully, the article says. The stripper, who was wearing only shorts and a t-shirt, was cornered by 2 security guards who ushered her off the field. So I give you the 50th annual All-Star Game on NBC, July 17th, 1979.
Better than this All-Star Game.
It is. Now, and I believe in this All-Star Game, the American League just won for the 8th consecutive time. So kind of an odd parallel there.
And a Toronto Blue Jay was MVP.
That's right.
And no strippers.
No strippers. All right, let's throw it down to our guest judges for this episode, Christian Rivera and Alex. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Alex.
You know, I don't very much, but what I do think is, Mark James, you had some good stuff. Honestly, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know exactly what I'm judging. I mean, you had some good stories from that time. We're judging who has the better stories, right?
However you want to do it.
Yeah. What you think is the best, be it stories, be it just the event itself, be it.
Right.
Oh, dude, yeah, for sure then. Because, I mean, Mark, you got Tyson, you got male strippers running up to home base kissing some dude. Man crush, you did well. But Mark James had some pretty eventful moments there.
Yeah,
All right,
so we're going to have to split the decision there because, I mean, dude, like, wrestling in the late 90s, like, that's where it's at. Like, and I guess, like he said, you have to kind of live through that and witness it to be able to really get it. And I mean, it was just such an awesome time. And, you know, especially I was a Monday Nitro fan, you know, WCW, watching the Stinger come out of the fucking rafters, you know, looking like the Crow.
That was Mark's shit. Mark was all about WCW.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
4 Horsemen, Sting, early Booker T, Benoit, fucking, it was amazing back then.
NWO Wolfpack.
Oh yeah, I'm still NWO for life. Always will be. Wow.
All right, so you guys have to fight it out.
Yeah.
You know what? They don't have to fight it out. I'm going to concede the point just because it's wrestling versus baseball. Man Crush, you can take this round.
Oh,
All right.
If it was anything other than the Dudley Boys and ECW, fuck you. But you know what? It's ECW, so you can't. I
Wow.
can't argue with that.
I'm telling you, like, just go and look
It's
up
a-
this 10-minute clip,
Yeah.
and your jaw will hit the floor
It's
because you will not
amazing.
believe what they're saying.
It's an absolutely great pay-per-view. You got to
Yeah.
check it out if you're a wrestling fan.
All right.
All right, so Man Crush, you pick up the first point, but more importantly, you take control of the board. What category are we going with next?
All right. So last week we kicked things off with movies, and I'm going to do something we don't normally do. I'm going to pick it in round 2.
Ooh, alrighty.
Joe, do I have to wait for any hand signals, or am I good? All right.
No,
we're,
you're
We're
fine.
kicking it off. Let's go to July 24th of 1999. I got lucky. I got a sneak preview here for this week. This was good for a couple reasons. One, the movies that were released on this week were weak. WEAK week. You had a terrible, unscary horror remake. You had a live action version of a kid's show that was completely butchered. And I grew up on that show. Watching that shit just gave me chills. And a bunch of movies that I never even heard of or I completely forgotten about. So I couldn't pick any of those. The other thing that was good about this is I got to discover a movie that I had heard about, but I'd never seen before. So unfortunately, I had to rent this one off of Amazon. It was not in my collection of a couple thousand movies I have. I was shocked that I never picked this one up along the way. But at the box office, this movie did pretty well. It's a thriller, romantic caper type movie. It took in about $124 million at the box office, just about $200 million in 2021. It's a remake of a 1968 film, which is a Steve McQueen classic. And in a rare occurrence for myself, I would actually give the remake a nod over the original here. I mean, this movie, it stars Pierce Brosnan, and there's just something about Pierce Brosnan. Perhaps it's because I can only picture him as James Bond these days, but he absolutely locks down the whole like billionaire playboy that does like illegal shit to cure his boredom. I mean, think about like Bruce Wayne, but instead of being a crime fighter, he actually commits crime in this movie. That's how he cures his boredom. Another huge plus for this movie, for those of us that are fans of Mr. Skin, we've had him on the show a couple times in the past. This is actually the first nude scene by 90s staple MILF Renee Russo, which I was a little shocked. I didn't think there was going to be any nudity in this movie. And she's nude like through the whole second half of it. It's pretty nuts. I feel like Mr. Skin right here saying this, but she waited till she was 44 or 45 at the time to do this. And wow. Very nice. And for every
Brosnan.
Well, I was just going to say for everyone else, I believe you get a Brosnan ass shot. So you got that there too. So if you're in the mood for Brosnan, being Brosnan, high stakes artwork, forgeries, cat and mouse capers, a touch of romance, double crosses, sloppy, sweaty sex, I should say. Dennis Leary playing a beleaguered detective, which is always great. Illegal wiretaps and lots of twists and turns. Then go out, get yourself a copy of the Thomas Crown Affair. Well, the sneak peek, July 24th, 1999.
All right, Joe Finley, what did you bring for the movies round?
Well, I brought something interesting. I'm going to go again to July 21st, 1989, and I'm going to take you to a movie that was originally titled The Vidiot until they decided against that title. This was created by a man who is near and dear to most everybody from when they were growing up. I give you Weird Al Yankovic and UHF. The movie was written by Jay Levy and Weird Al Yankovic, and it was directed by Jay Levy, who directed literally everything Weird Al ever did. His show, all music videos, all specials, everything like that. He's his guy for, tapping into the voice that is Weird Al Yankovic. It starred Weird Al, of course, Victoria Jackson, Michael Richards, Fran Drescher, Billy Barty, Geddy Watanabe, and Emo Phillips, and featured such classic classic moments, because essentially the whole thing is in almost sketch form as they're creating their own TV station, as Spatula City, Conan the Librarian, Wheel of Fish, Uncle Nutsy's Clubhouse, Gandhi 2, and parodied things like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Geraldo and Rambo. Roles were actually offered to Crispin Glover, Jerry Seinfeld, and Ellen DeGeneres, and not even Weird Al himself knows what happened as to why they didn't get those roles. Weird Al's mentor, Dr. Demento, makes a cameo in the film. Made a modest profit. It was about $6.2 million. It only cost like $3 million to make. It was about $13.2 million today. But it's another cult thing solidified in everybody's brains for the genius that is Weird Al, UHF.
You don't need no stinking bachelors.
Damn right.
Great movie.
Damn,
Just on constant replay in my house growing up. Great pick. All right, guys. So saddle up, buckaroos, because an outlaw eyes a stagecoach and a beautiful woman, but he's foiled by a handsome stranger in white in The Villain, released July 20th, 1979, starring Kirk Douglas as Cactus Jack, and no, not the one from wrestling, and the always ravishing Anne Margaret as Charming Jones, and this movie was directed by a man best known for working with his friend Burt Reynolds, director Hal Needham. Matter of fact, Hal actually paid tribute to his buddy Burt in this film by painting his face on the side of the whorehouse, which surprisingly fits perfect in this movie because it has a genuine slapstick brand of comedy. Matter of fact, this movie was intentionally tried to be a live-action version of a Looney Tunes movie, including the same type of music and sound effects that you'd find in the Bugs Bunny cartoons. So instead, The Villain kind of comes off as more like a bad ripoff of like Blazing Saddles and Cat Ballou. However, this Western does give us the first attempt at comedy from the great dramatic screen actor Kirk Douglas. The 61-year-old Douglas actually performed many of his own stunts and pratfalls. The Villain also marks the first and only Western for Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays the handsome stranger. He wears a powder blue outfit, identical to the one the Lone Ranger wears, just he doesn't have the mask on. The film also features Paul Lynde, who makes his final film appearance, playing a Native American chief. So, you know what? Let's all ride with a horse named Whiskey and an all-star cast as the villain plots to outsmart the handsome stranger with slapstick determination, a raucous Western spoof that proves you can't judge a cowboy by the color of his hat. So giddy up to the theaters. It's The Villain, July 20th, 1979. Yeah, I didn't think anyone would ever have seen that one.
Shockingly, I've not.
I had never seen The Villain either. It is available on YouTube if you search for it. So,
but go see the ECW clip first.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Then that Tyson fight.
All right,
you have time for both.
Let's throw it over to Christian and Alex for the judgment on the movies round.
All righty. Well, you can't go wrong with Pierce Brosnan, and it's you don't get to see him be the bad guy often. So that sounds like a great movie. So I'd go with that one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What about you, Christian?
Honestly, crazy. I've never seen any of those movies. So I was never much of a movie guy. It's always been music for me. I've locked myself up in my bedroom and play guitar when, my friends were going to the movies and stuff. So I really don't have a dog in this fight. So,
all right, Man Crush. Well, you pick up another point heading into our final 1 point round, and you still have control of the board. What category are we going with now?
Man. All right. Since you like music, let's go to the hot products round. It's a little bit of music. All right. Once again, I don't have to wait for anything. So let's go July 22nd to the 25th of 1999. And this was the hottest ticket from the summer of 1999. $19.99, hotter than a ticket to any wrestling show. That's for damn sure. This event, it was massive. The attendance was well into the hundreds of thousands, and it took place in an abandoned Air Force base in Rome, New York. Tickets for this one, tickets for all 3 days, matter of fact, were somewhere around $180 with fees, which is roughly $300 in 2021. So I don't know, $100 a day. It's kind of stiff, but I mean, yeah, it's not that bad. But if you couldn't make it to Rome, New York, you could always purchase Sucker on pay-per-view as well for the mere price of $29.95 per day or $59.95 for the entire weekend. You could watch it on pay-per-view. That's a bargain right there, right? Except you'd be the loser of all your friends that had to watch it on cable and not actually be there. We all know where I'm going with this one. It's Woodstock 1999. This is the complete antithesis of Woodstock 1969. I mean, you talk about hot. This weekend had temperatures like around 100 degrees. That said, water became the hottest product at the festival. You either paid $4 a bottle for water, or you started busting water fountains and pipes, which actually happened to gain some access to municipal water. And then that's where all the mud and all the other shit popped up. But most likely, you couldn't do anything else because most of the time, if you wanted a $4 bottle, you couldn't get money at the ATMs because they were basically all smashed and looted. So, but not to worry though, not to worry, because pretty much all the supply trailers that held anything that you needed for the weekend, those were also looted. So that shit was out there. However, they also set fire to that shit. So I don't know if you'd get any of that. I mean, after day 3, this place looked like a straight up war zone. Everything was smoldering: cars, ATMs, tents, booths, speaker towers, stages, big rigs. Pretty much anything that could burn was burning at Woodstock 99. From what I've been told from my friends that actually went, day 1 and 2 were pretty decent. Like everything was mellow. You can get stuff. And then all of a sudden, from what my friend Brent told me, Korn closed out. I think it was night 2. And he said it was an amazing performance. And then he said it all went to shit from there. Started day 3. He said it was just fucking total annihilation. He ended up getting pelted in the head with a bottle filled with urine, which I guess was like the projectile of choice at Woodstock 1999, because everyone realized once Kid Rock told everybody to throw bottles on the stage, they realized that if it was filled with something, it went a lot further. So you couldn't get any water, so you just pissed in the damn thing. But this hot product, this has legs too, because since this concert was such a disaster, Woodstock 50 never took place in 2019 because, let's face the music here, no venue wanted any part of that shit.
Yeah.
But in 1999, this was the hottest of hot products. You got Woodstock 1999.
Wow. Right on. All right, Joe Finley, what did you bring for the hot products round?
Oh, get ready for me to blow this out of the water. You want to talk about something based on something cool and only became crazier. I give you Willow, the video game for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Oh, shit.
Released July 18th, 1989. It was based on the 1988 Ron Howard, George Lucas collaboration. The game basically has Willow traveling through a 2D world, very reminiscent of The Legend of Zelda. The world looks almost exactly the same. Just the landscape looks different. And he has to, travel around and take out his enemies in real time. It is another RPG. The really interesting thing about this game, though, that made it different from all the other kind of RPGs of its day, is there was no money in the game. Everything that you got in the game, you had to find or earn. So if you needed a specific weapon to beat a specific area of the game, you had to find it first, and that's how you went through the entire game. So it was named by IGN as one of the top 100 games of all time from the on the NES. So that's what I give you, is Willow, the video game.
Wild.
All right, guys. So my hot product this week is really hot and really out of this world. But first, a little backstory. So 5 years after the last Skylab mission, America's first space station its orbit began to deteriorate because of unexpected high sunspot activity. So on July 11th, 1979, Skylab made a spectacular return to Earth, breaking up in the atmosphere and showering down burning debris over the Indian Ocean in Australia. So the San Francisco Examiner then offered a prize of $10,000 US to the first person who could deliver fallen debris from the space station to their offices. Now, at the time, that prize was worth about 8,852 Australian dollars, or the equivalent of 11,852 Australian dollars today. So let's look at an article from July 21st, 1979, where a headline reads, Australian youth wins Skylab prize. A NASA laboratory said Friday that charred nuggets recovered by an Australian teenager were indeed pieces of Skylab, a finding worth $10,000 to Stan Thornton, a 17-year-old trucker's helper. Thornton, who found the crumbly black nuggets in the backyard of his home and not in his underwear, flew into town with the treasure last week, but had to wait while it was authenticated. The 9 pieces, which are now 12 due to breakage from the journey from Australia to San Francisco, were described technically as dark charcoal-looking stuff. And they were actually parts from Skylab that were made from wood. The pieces were authenticated, and Stan Thornton was awarded his prize of $10,000. When asked what he'd do with the money, he just replied, probably go back home and go fishing. So I give you a $10,000 scavenger hunt, and the hottest thing in July, it's falling from the sky. It's pieces of Skylab.
Wait, this was in space and it was made of wood?
Pieces of it were made of wood. Now,
Jesus.
I chuckled at that, but then they just had the Richard Branson Virgin spaceship that came. Now, when that landed, if you notice the front wheel of that Richard Branson's Virgin shuttle that landed, it didn't have like a wheel on it. It had like a scraper. That was made of wood too.
Yeah, but probably
Yeah.
mahogany.
What do I know?
Yeah, they put wood on the spaceships. Who knew? Wow. All right, let's toss it over to our judges for the ruling on the hot products round.
I mean, dude, hands down, it's the Woodstock '99 story for real. Like,
Yeah.
all my friends went to that. I was so bad, but we just couldn't go. And I mean, luckily, it just kind of, now looking back, it's kind of like the Fire Festival, except the band showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, because people were like, like doing slip and slide in actual human feces.
My friend said it was like Lord of the Flies when he was there.
Yeah, dude. But I mean, all the awesome bands played. I mean, Christ, you had so many great acts. Metallica, Megadeth.
Yep.
Our Lady Peace, I think, was on it. Korn, Limp Bizkit, and that's when I think it started going nuts when Limp Bizkit played Break Stuff, right?
Oh my!
And
actually, they try to calm everything down before that. He could have said it in a better way. I think he said, "Hey, all you assholes need to calm down a little bit." And then, of course, then they went into Break Stuff. But yeah, that's when they started to rip down all the plywood, and people are surfing on plywood, and the plywood is smashing people.
Wouldn't be, liable for anything that would happen afterwards.
Oh my God! What about you, Alex?
Gentlemen, I gotta say, Man Crush is he's crushing it right now. He came into this round. Well, I mean, let's take it back to before you guys brought anything up. This guy already knew what he was doing by buttering up the judges. Y'all know in a competition, you want to butter up the judges. This guy brought a musical event into the mix with 2 musicians,
Yeah.
Space is cool. Nintendo 64, that's cool.
There's
too,
music in
but,
that game.
Dude, Nintendo 64 didn't come out until we're talking about the 8-bit system.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Hey, look,
That shit
same
was
different
fire.
Toilet. All right, Woodstock.
No doubt.
3rd time's the charm. There you go. There you have it.
All right, Man Crush, you got 3 points and control of the board heading into our first 2-point round. Can you keep the shutout intact?
Let's go to let's go to news. Let's finish this one up with music. I think that only makes sense. No music in this round, but let's go to July 22nd in 1999. I think it was last week where we spoke about how movies get this like rolling release date, especially like in the 70s. Well, in 1999, this was still happening. But unlike the 70s, because there was like a theater shortage, this was purely because the studios figured, let's see how well this movie does, give it a few screens, and we'll see. And then we'll give it more, right? So in this case, this movie right here, it was released to only 27 theaters the week prior to my week, but it did something completely unheard of. All right. So this article right here is called "Which Scares Off Rivals" by Louis Beale. And it starts like this. It says, who's afraid of the Blair Witch Project? Apparently Universal Studios and Warner Brothers is. Both studios announced yesterday that they are reshuffling their release schedules, at least in part to avoid going up against the mock horror documentary, which just got awarded another 850 screens on July 30th. Now, keep in mind, I just said they only got 27 screens that first week. Now they're getting 850 more in a week from that point. So Universal Studios comedy Mystery Men has been bumped back to August 6th, and Warner Brothers has bumped ahead Deep Blue Sea from July 30th to July 28th to get a jump start on what they're calling a very competitive weekend. Here's the thing. Made for less than $100,000, the Blair Witch Project, it opened last weekend to humongous numbers. Although it was only released in 27 theaters, it earned $1.5 million for an unheard of per screen average of $56,000 a screen. And that's why they gave them 850 screens after that. And then it got a second release, I believe, in September. But the article continues, although Blair Witch was not supported by network TV advertising, which is amazing. That first week, there was no TV advertising for this movie. It was all publicized through their own website, which at this date of this article had 21 million hits. So they actually got more through that website than they could have got on television. Warner Brothers claims that the decision to move Deep Blue Sea was because of enthusiastic responses to a recent press junket. But Warner Brothers distribution president Dan Feldman told Variety that Blair Witch's huge opening weekend factored in the decision as well. And I quote him here as saying, we're expecting Blair Witch to do extremely well. All right. So when it was all said and done, Blair Witch made nearly $250 million. It was around $407 million in 2021 on a $100,000 budget. Those two movies that were bumped back and forward. Deep Blue Sea only made $164 million on a $60 million budget. And Mystery Men completely flopped, only making $33 million on a $68 million budget. So it's just completely insane how much money this made. This movie made, the budget's $100,000. They weren't on television to start this thing out. It was kind of like all word of mouth through the website, and they just blew everybody out of the water. And then look at how many movies they try to copy it going forward. It's amazing what they did. Whether you like the movie or not, you just got to give it props.
All right, Joe Finley, what did you bring for the news round?
Well, I brought a first flight to the news round. It was on July 18th in the Arizona Republic. They reported on, from the previous day, so the 17th, the first flight of the Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit, better known to us as the stealth bomber. The bomber, which had a wingspan of 172 feet and cost over $500 million per plane, which is over $1 billion today's money, took a 2-hour flight accompanied by 2 F-16s. The defense secretary at the time, Dick Cheney, praised the successful flight and called it a justification of the Defense Department's $22.4 billion investment in that program. It was piloted by Air Force Colonel Richard Couch and Chief Test Pilot Bruce Hines. Couch was actually quoted as saying in their press conference, if we appear a little giggly about all this, it's because it was a lot of fun. A lot still had to happen before it became a plane of choice for the U.S. military, as the Senate Armed Services Committee needed to see more tests, and some people wanted it scrapped altogether just because of the amount of money that was spent on it already. But the cool thing about this plane, due to its building materials, unique shape, and the method of construction, it makes it so radar had a hard time picking it up, if it could pick it up at all, which is kind of the stealth part of the stealth bomber. So a gigantic plane takes to the skies, probably got a lot of UFO sightings from that one, but July 17th, the first flight of the stealth bomber.
All right, guys. So for my news entry this week, we're going to go to the front page of the Lexington Herald Leader out of Lexington, Kentucky, July 20th, 1979, where the headline reads, Miss Universe stage collapses. Hysterical screams shattered the climax of the Miss Universe contest today when part of the stage collapsed and pitched 8 beauty queens down a 6-foot hole. Moments after Marisa Salazaro of Venezuela took the coveted crown, the first woman ever from Venezuela to do so. The 18-year-old winner was unhurt, but Miss Malta and Miss Turkey, they were taken to the hospital. Miss Turkey was hospitalized with a concussion, and Miss Malta, she was badly bruised. Officials at the Perth Entertainment Center blamed the collapse on the sudden surge of reporters and photographers onto the stage as she took the crown. The back of the stage was designed to hold 75 girls. It was not designed to hold 200 people pushing and shoving, one official said. The third and fourth place finishers, Miss Britain and Miss Brazil, were among those who fell into the hole that opened in the wooden stage. There was a rumble, and at one end of the platform, it dropped about 6 feet, said David Tanner, a photographer from the Perth Daily News. Miss Brazil, her $300 silk chiffon dress, it was torn badly.
Oh, no.
Other contestants, they wept hysterically. Others even trembled with shock. So I give you mishaps at the Miss Universe pageant and some lovely ladies that are just drop dead gorgeous.
When you go back to the 70s, I feel like 2 months ago, you brought another award show where the stage collapsed.
Yes.
Do you like search for that in the news articles?
No, that's total coincidence. But yeah, that's like 2 stage collapse stories in as many months. Man.
Sounds like somebody's time jumping to make some news.
Yeah. Wow. So that's an interesting news round. Let's turn it over to our judges for this episode for their verdicts.
Go ahead, Alex.
Mark. Oh shit. You'll see. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, we got you, Alex.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Mark James. You know, that's really all there is to that round.
You like chicks falling in holes.
Well, hey, you know, I'm back. Yeah.
Christian, do you have any thoughts on this round?
Yeah, I'm going to say as a Maryland native, I got to go with Blair Witch. I saw it in theaters when it came out, and the hype of it was that it was like real. Like the shit really happened. And so that's why everybody went to go see it, because that's how they were hyping it. And, you know, so it was like a different experience in that genre of film, because, you know, going in thinking it's real and like watching it and like the way it ended, everybody just walked out there like, holy shit. And then we were all pissed later when we found out that was all staged. But, you know, I got
How stupid were all of us though that went to see it thinking it was real when they were like
things like Snopes or anything like that back then. Where we could, no Facebook flagging, fake news.
That's true, man. It's like in the 80s for us with Faces of Death. And we always thought Faces of Death was real.
I was about to say, speaking of stage collapses, there is a Faces of Death film that ends with the friggin' stage collapse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ties it all together.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so
gentlemen, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Beyonce had the best music video of all time, and and I must respectfully tune out now because I have to go warm up for this rehearsal.
All right. Well, Alex, dude, thanks for coming, bro.
Gentlemen, thanks for having me. And this was a lot of fun, and I hope to play this again someday.
Yes, and we're definitely going to get you on the road while you do this.
Yeah.
Right,
That'll be the thing.
But Alex, you know what? In honor of you and taking off, I'll concede to Mark on this round.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'll give him the 6 chicks falling in a hole for Alex.
Hey,
legit
what
the
a
nicest
gentleman.
these two have ever been to each other.
Hey, look, man crush, you got class, all right?
Not really, but I try.
All right. Well, that's
All
very
right, thanks
nice
a
of you.
lot, Alex.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Take care, Alex.
Thanks a lot, man.
All right, off to the last round. It's
Give
all
me-
you, Christian, on this big one.
Go.
You guys are gonna have to give me a second to rejig everything because
Okay,
we had
all right.
somebody leave. Just give me 1 second here. You
Actually, it
guys
would just be easier if you joined with if I joined
Yeah.
my phone or something.
Here, no, I think I can do this. Hold on.
Okay.
Show
Yeah, because
self-
we
Oh.
Christian has half the right now.
No, I know we're gonna fix it, and we're just a little stretched out and weird, so we're gonna get this all. We're gonna make this right. What the hell?
We do it live.
Sorry, live folks. Well, I know I don't have a real good contingency for this yet.
Yeah, it's not often that somebody leaves in the middle of an episode.
No, but that's
Although
okay.
Trevor tried to walk
Tre-
off last episode.
Trevor was getting shut out, and he told Tom Higginson to go fuck himself and try to leave. Nah, it wasn't that bad, but
No,
he
it's
did try
fine.
to leave.
All right. Now we've made Christian look every bit as handsome as he deserves. There
All
you
right,
go.
perfect.
All right.
All right. Well, I guess that means I pick up a couple of points at least and make this game a little bit closer. We'll see what happens in the end. Now that we're down to one judge, we just got Christian here with us. So we're going to head over to the movies round. You know what? I'm not even going to bother deferring. I'm just going to go first on this one.
Okay. There's the music
So-
round, though, right?
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
music round.
Did I say movies?
Yeah.
You did. It's okay.
Yeah, well, it's the music round.
We forgive you.
Yeah. All right. So, released July 20th, 1979, I present to you the 9th album from REO Speedwagon, aptly named Nine Lives. The album featured, you guessed it, 9 songs. Nine Lives reached number 33 on the Billboard 200 chart, and it went gold by December of 79. But this is not the REO Speedwagon you're probably thinking of. This is not the REO Speedwagon that Billy Madison was rocking the t-shirt of in high school. This was the REO Speedwagon of 11-year-old Billy Madison. The soft, soothing sounds of hits like Keep On Loving You and Can't Fight This Feeling, those were a few years away still. And this Speedwagon was a bit more rockin', kind of more of the blues-based rock band that you'd expect out of their Chicago-based roots. So, with a sound and a look more resembling the roots of a hair band than the radio soft rockers that they ended up becoming. Now, the standout tracks for this one are, for me, the first cut on the album, "Heavy on Your Love," which is a song that would fit right in on any Judas Priest album, or just their 1980 British Steel album. Fantastic cut. And then we have "Only the Strong Survive." It's an up-tempo power ballad that could be in any 80s early teen movie. And then the final track on the album, "Back on the Road Again," where bassist Bruce Hall jumps on vocals for a track that's very reminiscent of some early Whitesnake. So produced by vocalist Kevin Cronin and lead guitarist Gary Richrath, along with engineer Kevin Beamish. I give you 9 Lives from the fucking Speedwagon, July 20th, 1979.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Man Crush. What do you have for the music round?
All right. Well, since Joe mentioned Pod TV Live before, he said it twice, but I'm going to count that as 1. So here's number 3. If you haven't figured it out yet, you can download the app on your Roku, on your Fire Stick, on your Apple TV. We're also on Pod TV Live, or you can just go to the website podtv.live, and you'll see us and a bunch of other shows on there. So check that out. But let's do the music round right here. Let's go to July 20th, 1999. And I swear I didn't even know this before Mark said it to begin the episode out. But when you think 1999, this is one of those bands you'd most likely immediately associate with 1999. Not just the band per se, but like the entire genre of music. So let me see if this works. I'll ask Mark and Christian. If I asked you what the official music genre of 1999 was, what would you say, Mark?
New metal.
Okay, what about you, Christian?
Yeah, I was gonna say new metal.
Motherfucking new metal. That was easy. I didn't even have to. I was like, they're either gonna say boy bands or new metal, but yeah, new metal. I mean, the whole like several year span in the late 90s into the early 2000s just reminds me of going to festivals and seeing like back to back to back new metal bands. So this really feels like it represents 1999 pretty well. And on top of that, this band sort of sounds like the lead singer's older brother's band. One slight difference, you might hear a lot more horror influence from his brother's music, and this band leans a little bit towards the science fiction side, maybe. So that might be one little difference between this group and the rest of like the new metal fodder that we had in the late 90s, because there were some really good bands and there were some that just like shouldn't have existed, but it is what it is. But that's the period that we had in the late 90s. This album, it did fairly well. It reached number 29 on the Billboard 200. It featured 2 singles, which I'm sure Christian will hear all the time on tour. And you had Nobody's Real, which is a solid song. And then the one that everyone here probably remembers, and that's When Worlds Collide, which was a very popular song on MTV at the time. And was on my workout mix for over 20 years. I don't think I've ever said anything on this show that has made me feel as old as saying that I've had a song on my workout mix for over 20 years. I mean, that's just fucking frightening, but it's true. But anyway,
has ever made me feel so fat to admit that I've never had a workout mix.
well,
Yeah,
if you start,
like-
you could start with this track. I give you Rob Zombie's little brother, Spider One, who's going to be on tour with Christian and his band. Power Man 5000, their second studio album. Tonight's The Stars Revolt.
Wow. Yeah, definitely new metal, man. Definitely. I saw them in concert, not in 99. This was maybe 10 or 12 years after that. And they're a pretty solid band, man. Can't
Yeah.
complain with some power, man.
Summer Sanitarium with Metallica and
Yeah.
Metallica, System of a Down, those dudes. Who else? I think Korn or Limp Bizkit was on it too.
All those shows back then were like, I was just talking over this past weekend. I went to like this fireworks thing with my friends that I used to go to all these shows with, and we were talking about all these like Ozfests that we used to go to back in the day. And we went to an Ozfest at the Meadows in 1999. It was the first time we ever saw Slipknot. Nobody knew who they were. And this band just comes out with like fucking 87 fuckers on stage, just slamming away. And we were like, who the fuck? And it was in this dusty ass field. It was like 100 degrees out, dry as hell. And there was like tornadoes of dust everywhere. And nobody even knew who they were. But the music was just so amazing. And then we got into a fight during Primus, and we were recapping that whole thing, which was on asphalt. Totally fucked up situation. But I'll leave that for another episode.
You're fighting over which one was better, pork soda or the seasoned cheese?
No, some dude, I don't know what his deal was. He was like in the pit and he kept charging at me, and I kept like throwing him, and he kept falling down. He kept doing it over and over again. And finally his friend came over to my buddy Anthony and asked Anthony to throw him into some other dude in the pit. So, and Anthony was playing college football at the time, and grabbed this dude by like his belt, just like a dart, and just fucking tosses him at this guy like at 100 miles an hour. And then they all wanted to fight. It was just like, what are you doing? Yeah, it didn't end well for them.
Yeah, the crowd at a new metal show back in 1999 was like 10,000 preppy white kids fighting over who had the best black shirt.
Oh, it was pretty rough.
Wow. All right, Joe Finley, why don't you wrap us up with your pick for the music round?
Oh, I'm so glad you saved me for last. I'll preface this by just saying my first actually was, I think it was early 99. I went and saw Korn and Stained in Toronto for the first time. And the opening band was this band called Mindless Self-Indulgence. And I remember they came out and they just said, "We fucking suck," and then they just like rocked, and then everybody just booed them for their entire set. And it was also the first experience I had at a concert where a girl flashed, but she actually turned around to ask me to proofread her chest to make sure that the band would be able to see from our vantage point. And I was like, I don't know, maybe.
To proofread.
I
Yeah.
had something similar happen with the band Amen, except the guy came out and said, "You guys fucking suck," and then he jumped off a speaker and broke his ankle. Dick.
Karma wins another one. But now I'm going to go in a completely opposite direction, and I'm going to give you potentially the weirdest single from a Beatle ever, and that's saying something given that they wrote albums on acid. I'm going to give you the bonus track from Paul McCartney's album Flowers in the Dirt, Où est le soleil, which was dropped as a single only in the US on July 22nd. The whole song, it's actually a dance track, and the whole song has 3 lines. It's Où est le soleil, dans la tête, travailler. And for our non-francophone listeners in there, that translates to where is the sun, in the head, work. That's it.
Hey, yeah.
So anyways, it was the album itself was a bit of a kind of resurgence for Paul McCartney's solo albums. It was his 9th solo, and they were kind of taking a dip, and this one started getting better reviews and stuff. It actually featured accompaniments by Elvis Costello and David Foster on the album. But the video, again, you should watch on YouTube. I've list everything we've talked about today and make a YouTube playlist out of it and share it to the Dueling Decades site or something like that, because oh my God, this is a side-scrolling video game where it's just this little guy jumping and doing his thing, and every now and again Paul McCartney's head just shows up in the middle, and he's like eye tracking his movements. And then at the very end of the video, when the guy reaches his final goal and it's like, you win, Paul McCartney shows up and he has a sombrero on and he's just smiling down at him. That's the video. I honest to God thought I fell into a coma and died while I was loading that up, because I couldn't comprehend it. But it's Paul McCartney, and you gotta love him. And it was something that was released my week. So July 22nd, 1989, Paul McCartney's Où est le soleil?
Wow. All right, Christian, it's all up to you. What is your final verdict on this game?
Dude, I gotta go. I just gotta go with Man Crush. Gotta go with Power Man. Not for political reasons, but because those are those are some great times, and brought back a ton of great memories for me. And plus, I mean, any way you slice it, man, the REO Speedwagon ain't for me, dude. Sorry.
Now, if you were on tour with the Speedwagon, would it be a different tune?
I wouldn't be on tour with the Speedwagon, my friend.
At least he's honest. They're like, we're gonna offer you guys. You guys want to open for us? Nah.
Nah, I'm good, bro.
I'm all set, man. Thanks.
Before, is this gonna be your first tour with them?
No, this will be my first tour with them. I've only seen them, as a spectator, coming into the show. And I've seen them a few times, but this will be my first time out on the road with those dudes. So I'm really pumped about it.
When was the last time you guys were out with the whole COVID thing?
Let's see. I think, the band hasn't played a show in nearly 2 years.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's insane. Are you really nervous going out on the road after 2 years?
Yeah, man, I'm chomping at the bit. I'm stoked because, I'm right at home on stage. That's where I belong. So I'm just really excited to get back out there, get back to work, and have a little bit of a sense of normalcy coming back. And I think that
no shit.
fans are excited too, man. Everybody's ready to get out. As cool as the live streaming concerts are or were for what they are. You have to be there. You have to feel speakers moving air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, we went to I think I talked about it with Tom last week. I saw Living Color 2 Fridays ago.
Where?
And dude, it was at Middletown, New York, in this shitty place called the Orange County Fairgrounds, which is a complete dirt pit. But it was our first show that I had been to in 18 months. And it rained sideways. Literally, I'm not even shitting you. It was like this. And I looked at my wife and I was like, I don't care. I'm staying right here. We're not going anywhere. If we get hit by lightning, we get hit by lightning. We're living it up. And those guys played amazing.
Hell yeah, man. Those guys I've always loved that band and respected them, man. They're incredible freaking musicians too.
Holy shit, dude. Vernon Reed was going off. The only thing that sucked, it was raining so hard. I felt like they had to cut their set short.
Yeah.
because they were starting to get like wet and their equipment was getting wet and stage away, everything was set up. So they only played like 5 songs or so. But dude, those 5 songs, just seeing that was amazing after 18 months. So I can't wait. And then a couple weeks, I'm going to see Soul Asylum. So I can't.
Oh, sick.
I just want to get back out. I don't give a shit who it is. I told my wife if it's somewhat close and they're playing a live show, we're going. If it's fucking Barbara Streisand, I will go see fucking Barbara Streisand because I want to see a show so bad.
Like Babs.
Like, do a cover.
I'm friends with some of the dudes in that band, Candlebox. Remember those guys?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
They're getting ready to go out on a big tour, but I think they just put out an album recently or getting ready, because when they came out to LA, like all the guitars that you hear on the album, like were played through my speakers.
Oh no shit.
Borrowed the guitar cabinet. So I'm like, sure, dude, come pick it up. So I went down there and they did the Jim Henson studio on La Brea. Nice. And that place is freaking dope. But yeah. So
dude, that's fucking awesome. The first big guest I ever had like 6-7 years ago was Kevin Martin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy, man.
Oh, it was a wild interview. He was driving in his car as well because he was stuck in traffic, and he was like, I'm just gonna pull over at this little Mexican cantina. And he was like, I'm gonna buy a couple beers. When I finish these beers, we'll be done. I was like, all right, sounds good. It was the first one I ever did, so I was like, all right, is this how it goes? Sure. And he was fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
But speaking of tours, you guys were on tours before this, and we asked this of everybody because it's always pretty wild what stories come out. What's like the craziest shit that ever happened on the road to you?
Oh God. Well, I've been asked this question a couple times in the past few weeks, so I think I might have to give a different answer, so that way, like,
mix it. Oh man, there's that many.
Yeah.
Oh, this will be good.
So this is kind of nuts. So it wasn't with this band, but a band I was in previously. We had a stop in Las Vegas, and then after the show, we had the next day off, and I think the show after that was like in LA or San Diego, so not far from there. And so so we play the show, and we're gonna go back to our hotel to like get cleaned up and go hit the strip and all that shit. Right? So we get, I don't know, about halfway to the hotel, and I look in the back of the van, like the blankets are moving around. Basically, what had happened is some chick stowed away in the back of our van. She must have gotten in there when we were like loading out or something.
Oh my God. You didn't get charged with kidnapping for this, did you?
I know. So,
Did you keep her?
Well, she wasn't 21 yet, so we couldn't. So I gave her $20 and told her, hey, hit the road. We got to get out of here. Like, what the hell? So, lock your doors always.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Did she just want the ride down, or she wanted to go? Oh,
yeah. I think
guess the way I worded that.
She wanted to ride for sure.
Oh, dude, wow. When I think when I was looking you guys up, like originally when I can't remember if Stephanie or Tori, one of your publicists had hit us up. I saw a story where Tiade got into a fight with somebody at one of your shows.
Oh, yeah.
For looking at their phone, and I have nothing wrong with that. I don't like, you shouldn't be looking at your goddamn phone.
Yeah.
When you're at a show. Were you part of the band when this happened?
No, I wasn't with them when this happened, but yeah, this is kind of it's a really embarrassing story for Tiade. Like she just she just kind of does not like that side. Oh no, I shouldn't put it like that.
You gotta own it.
It was kind of framed in a weird way because Tiade used to have this like shtick where, on the whole tour, where she would just kind of like, if she saw someone on the phone, she'd go grab it and bring it, and then bring the fan, use it to lure the fan up onto the stage, to engage them and get them into
right. Yeah. I've seen it done before. Yeah.
So kind of this time it just kind of went sideways, and the chick wasn't having none of it. She was like trying to put her arm around, like, hey, we're buds, and the chick just kind of went into fight mode, and it turned into a whole thing. And then some guy on the internet who wasn't even like involved, like he was there, I think, but he's just kind of said all these things that weren't really true, and then the whole internet exploded over it. And
The only reason I bring that up, and this is a perfect like tie-in segue, when I had Kevin Martin on, this is like a long ass time ago, we asked him about people in the crowd on their phones, and he fucking hates it. He was like, dude, it's the worst. And I can't remember what band you were talking about at the time. But whatever lead singer it was that he was talking about, he was like, dude, well, this dude will punch you in the face if you're on the phone. And it made me think of that story.
the kind of the way I see it too, it's like shit. If you're at a baseball game and you're sitting on the third baseline and you're looking at your phone and not paying attention,
Yeah.
Your fault.
something could happen.
It's funny shit. I mean, stuff happens like that, but
Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
I understand if you got to talk to a babysitter or whatever, but
leave the room.
Yeah, leave the room. I do kind of feel like it's, even though you paid your good money to get in or whatever, it's still a little bit disrespectful to the artist on the stage.
Sure.
If you're up-
I totally agree. I try not to touch my phone the entire time, unless I'm like taking a picture or like
Yeah.
trying to videotape something like I did with Living Color, which
yeah,
ended up turning out that I got a brand new cell phone and it has a front and back camera that runs simultaneously. So you saw my dumbass face singing along to Call of Personality. So
Right.
nobody will ever see that video except for my wife. And she like laughed her ass off. But that's the only reason you should pull out your phone.
yeah. I mean, things come up and stuff, and there are places you can go to address that, but I don't know, man.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I figured let's talk about it. Let's hash this.
Yeah. So I
People
don't know.
should know. Keep your phone in your pocket.
Yeah, keep it in your pocket or put it away, or if you need it, go to the can or something.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go to a porta john with my phone.
Go to
That's
the
weird.
lobby or wherever you're gonna be. Just don't stand in front of the fucking stage like face buried in the phone when you have an artist that's like, bleeding their heart out for you.
Oh, it's the fucking worst. Dude, we saw this is like probably about 5 years ago. We were at City Field and we saw Foo Fighters. And there were like two, and I'm not gonna put down all millennials, but they just happened to be millennials sitting in front of us on their phone the entire fucking show texting. And
Yeah.
I was like, I felt like and the way City Field is set up kind of sucks if you're not on the field. You're sitting in these seats and you're pretty far away because the mezzanine's right there. I felt like just grabbing their shit and throwing it over the side.
See, I feel lucky, man, because like, dude, I didn't even have a cell phone until I was like 20.
Yeah. Same
You
here.
know what I mean? So I had like my whole childhood and teenage years to myself.
Yep.
Go out and experience things. And I think, one of the big reasons, like, you see kids today, they're so like, there's a lot of mental health issues going around. Not to say that there wasn't before, but, it's
Made it worse. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like, because you're plugged into the phone so much that you don't know how to interact with other human beings. And it's and go into a crowded ass room and then you feel lonely as shit because you don't know how to behave
Let me pull my phone out and talk to
Yeah.
myself.
and sit there, with your face buried in it. Like, I don't know.
It's wild, man. I mean, I have a 15-year-old, so I know exactly how that goes. I'll be talking to her sometimes. She's on her phone. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you even hear what I'm saying right now?
Right.
But dude,
Yeah.
so what's your first date going out on the road? Where can people find you? Like, give them all that stuff.
All right, let's see. First date on the tour. So it'll be September 15th in Salt Lake City.
Nice.
And dude, we're out like with Power Man from September 15th to October 6th. And then we're taking about 6 days off. And then we're going right back out again with Rotep. And we'll be out with her from October 14th until like the end of November, middle or end of November. So we'll be all over.
How the hell does Tiade keep that voice for that long of a stretch, man? Because if you've never heard her before, it's wild. You're
Yeah.
like, that was the one thing that I was like watching her videos and I'm like, how does she do this?
Yeah, I mean, she just she takes real good care of herself. She works out a lot, does a lot of cardio to kind of to keep the lungs in good shape for all that, because Tiade is one of those people. She just, when she gets up there, she just leaves it all out there. She leaves it all on the stage.
It is wild. If you listen to her voice, if you see her and then hear her voice, you wouldn't even think that that was her singing.
Yeah.
It's wild how deep she can get. But dude, I can't wait. Hopefully you guys come to the East Coast. I'd love to
Yeah.
see you guys live.
We'll be on the East Coast on the OTEP run. So
Oh, sweet. Are you coming up to New York or?
Yeah, we'll be there's this place called Market Hotel we're doing in Brooklyn. In New York
Okay.
City. And I think we're doing like a date in New Hampshire. We'll be in Reading, Pennsylvania. I begged our agent for a hometown show, so I get to do a hometown show in Baltimore, which I'm
Very
super
nice.
excited about. Real quick though, let me take a look and see where about New York are you located?
I'm in Orange County, so if you're going to be in Brooklyn, I'm probably like an hour and a half with traffic.
New York had a fucking Orange County.
Not as nice as the Orange County in California.
No, not as nice.
Well, let's see here. All right, so yeah, November 2nd we're at New York, and then the 3rd we're in New Bedford, Massachusetts, then Baltimore, then we're in Clifton, New Jersey, someplace called
Okay. Yep.
And then Manchester, New Hampshire, then Reading. So he's got us going all over.
Yeah, Clifton's only like 45 minutes. I might hit. What was the date on that one?
Let's see. Clifton is going to be November 5th, and the
All right,
venue is
sweet.
called Dingbats.
Yep, I know exactly where it is. I'm writing it down now.
Yeah, so
getting my shows lined up for the year since I didn't get to do anything for the past year and a half. But dude, thank you so much for coming on. Please thank Alex. Hopefully his rehearsal and everything went well. He made it on time. But I appreciate him stopping by.
Go fuck himself for leaving it. I'll make sure to pass the message along. Thank you for having us on. We really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Good luck on the tour if we don't talk to you. And fourth one here, podtv.live. That's number 4.
Yeah, if you happen to make it out to Dingbats, man, come find me.
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah.
It's not that far away.
Cool.
Thanks again, bro.
All right, take it easy, man.
Thanks a lot, Christian.
Bye, guys.
All right, Mark.
All right, duelers. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to end this episode right here. But don't worry, you can always head over to duelingdecades.com or in the description notes for this episode, and you can subscribe to us on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere you can get podcasts. And then head over to our YouTube channel, subscribe on YouTube, or you could just watch us on Pod TV. Another great outlet. Download it on your phone. You can download it on your TV. I have it right on my TV. I got the Roku app. It's fantastic. So until next time, duelers, we're going to thank you for watching and bid you a peace, love, light, and a joy. Have a grateful week, everyone.
Later, everyone.
Recording stopped.